Good morning and God bless. Let's see. On the path, a lot of what we're doing is transforming, healing old energy. In fact, at a certain point, that seems to be synonymous with the path. Is we've got this storehouse of pain, of emotions, of undigested, I'll just say energy. There's many different ways to talk about it. Because on one level, it's all of these sort of hurting, wounded, broken off, fragmented, split off, whatever word, parts of our life, of our being, of our life, in the form of past experiences that were overwhelming, intolerable, that we didn't have the time or the place or the know-how or the capacity or whatever, didn't have the time to process and to heal. And at a certain point on the path, that stuff starts to surface. You could say this is the shadow. But be careful with the terminology here too, because you can overdo it and make over dramatize, and it's really a more tender process than all of that. Really, it's about surrendering. It's about letting stuff come up and letting yourself feel what hasn't been felt, and that's a tender process. It's important to be gentle and as some of these parts within us come forward to be held in the light of, to be held in the light, really, and to release and to express out through us what was not able to be expressed, what was not able to be felt. And so, but one thing I want to just say, one thing that's remarkable about it is just how much of this stuff there is. Maybe that is, I'm sure there's variation. I'm sure that, some people have this. I feel a push and a pull about using language like quantifying. Let me see if there's a better way to say this. I guess it just could be that for some of us there is relatively more of this material than others, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever's coming up. That's what's there to heal. But I just want to put out that caution, or that there may be, for any one person, there may be a lot of this material in there. That's been the experience I've had. Just a lot, many, many layers. Some layers need to come up many, 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 many times to be healed, because there's little shades of undigested feeling tones, energetic patterns. Something will come up within you, and there's usually, it's kind of like a memory, energetic memory narrative bubble, or a knot, something like that, where there's images. Oftentimes it's of a specific place, specific time, specific place, and connected to that is the feeling tone, right? Kind of overriding flavor energetically, emotionally. A lot of them is it could be something like loneliness, could be fear, could be sorrow, could be grief, could be shame. There's different kind of flavors, but there is a sort of, and there could be layers to it. It's like you just open up to whatever's there. You don't have to worry about analyzing it and dissecting it. Let it present itself. Let the natural intelligence of creation, trust that process, whatever's coming up. All you have to do is be present with it and be willing to touch into it, to feel it, to let it, just the arising of it is good. I mean, it doesn't feel good, doesn't feel great, but it's a good sign that this stuff is starting to come out of the depths. It's starting to emerge. And your job, if there's any job really, don't saddle yourself with a great list of duties here. It's just to surrender to it, to allow yourself to feel it, to grieve it, to, if you're feeling scared, lonely, to, speak to that part and say, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Keep it simple, just express in a really authentic way with these parts, and mostly just listen. But sometimes it can help to have a little bit of a dialogue if these things come up. Mostly it's about finding, so yeah, it'll come up, there'll be kind of a flood of images perhaps, and perhaps a story that's connected with it. And you don't need to do anything with that really, but you definitely don't need to get caught up in that. It's more like that's the portal that's opening up, and the important thing is to find the energetic feeling in there. It's almost like you're asking that memory, that moment, that person that you are in that moment, whether you're 5 years old or 15 or 35 or wherever that memory is coming from. Are you scared? Do you feel alone? You're trying to figure out what's going on, and you don't have to do this. This is maybe just sort of instructions at the outset, because after a while, what happens is it just becomes a more immediate contact, an immediate, I guess contact is one way to say it. Integration with whatever's coming up. It's like you narrow in on the kind of fundamental feeling in the body, in a sense. Although you learn on the path that the body opens up to many different layers, and if it's in the body, it's sort of, my experience, at least how it's been showing up for me, is it's kind of in the back side of the body, like out almost behind the body. There's this kind of deeper anatomy, deeper experience of being that's sort of backwards, as strange as that sounds. But wherever you're feeling that, and a lot of it for me, and I think for a lot of people, would be heart center, although all over the body, it could be anywhere. But it's like you learn to penetrate directly with your awareness, with your experience, with your consciousness, directly into the substratum. And the substratum is that kind of seed tone, seed feeling tone. When you can touch into that and just move into that, merge with that in a sense. I don't know why I don't like that word, but if you can touch into that feeling tone, it's like just the touching, just the contact with it and really feeling it, it starts to open up, it starts to move, it starts to digest, you could say, it starts to release. And you just stay with it and you let it cry and you let the body, go into the fetal position or whatever needs to happen there. You'll figure it out. I'm cautious not to be too prescriptive here. I mean, there's pointers that are really helpful, but a lot of this is kind of unfolds organically, and you listen to what is being called for in the moment. To help that energy, that fixated, frozen, just to help that energy to move. And crying is going to be a lot of it. And that's a real sweet release when that happens. You can touch into that and you can feel it's like, oh no, you're just an innocent child of God here and you're frightened or you got lost in confusion or you're stuck in shame that you don't need to carry. Well, that's not fully cooked for me, so let me not go down that road. That line of that approach. But yeah, it's through a touching in. I've often used this metaphor. Give me a second here. Well, maybe I don't even need to go down that route. But it's really just through this gentle, loving willingness to surrender into your pain, to surrender into what's coming up, to allowing it to express, to be felt. And really it's through touching into it that it starts to open, it starts to unfold, it starts to release. And that often corresponds with a kind of emotional release. Tears or but every movement in this direction, every moment that you spend counts and it matters and it moves you closer to wholeness. So keep that in mind. Even as you have a recognition, you don't want to prejudge the process, really. But don't be surprised if there is a lot of stuff in there. A lot of stuff that needs to unwind. It's really kind of wild how much stuff is down in there. Eh, on the one hand, part of me wants to say it's really frustrating. It's really like this world is just, there's a part of me that kind of chafes at certain spiritual teachings around the perfection of this world and it's all perfect and it's all grace and it's all leading you to God. Okay, maybe, but it doesn't seem like it needs to be this. Just the whole design of it really kind of irritates me and pisses me off. The fact that we have to get so lost, so confused, the fact that it is an amazing grace that anyone could come to the recognition of the necessity, the need, the utility of emptying this stuff out and healing, that's a very, very, very small percentage of the population. And so to sit here and say this is this great cosmic design, it's like, I don't know, is it? And I accept it as it is. I don't have a choice, but I, architecturally speaking, the kind of architecture of our psyche and this shadow and repression mechanism and all the pain we carry, I'm not bowled over. I'm not wowed, with the design here. Not at all. I think I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. That's neither here nor there. I'm just kind of venting some frustration and maybe giving some permission here to say, like, you don't have to be overly spiritually correct, overly pious on the path. As this stuff releases and you get some lightening of your load at any one time, move through a layer, there is a rejuvenation there and more life that comes on board and a deeper breath, and that's great, and you can feel real positive about it. But I don't feel some allegiance to how this whole thing is designed. I don't feel like I need to be like, anyways. The important thing is just to stick with it, dedicate time to it. And it becomes sort of a self-perpetuating habit or practice, the return, because you see that there are changes over time that you are releasing and transforming this inner storehouse, bringing light, healing on one level, and you're able to move through progressively denser and denser layers. And so there's like almost a momentum or a trust or something that develops. And it's good. It's like an inner massage. It's like a much healthier way to deal with all the unconscious, painful stuff that we carry. I mean, the other option here is just to distract. The other option here is addiction. The other option here is alcohol. You could work yourself to death. You could get lost in porn. You could get lost in social media, endless scroll, cigarettes, heavier drugs, violence. I mean, those are all options, right? But when you've run through a few of those, at least, and you see the futility and the sort of death drive or the destructive fruit, destructive results of walking that path, you start to consider a different way to do this, and that's really what this path is. It's a different approach. It's an alternative.